Okay.
Here we go. Here we go. Ah, Cass made a mouse terrarium. Ah, all right.
We're having our usual technical difficulties with the music.
Yeah, typical.
Yeah.
How are you, Joey?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good. Good to see you.
Mary is sick today.
Mm-hmm.
Cass is in the chat.
Yes, she is. We're hoping Mary's getting some good rest.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So, we were talking ahead of the stream, so I did look and see if there were any questions. I was bad.
I haven't seen any. Oh, Stephen is here.
Yeah, Stephen the biologist.
Hey, Stephen. Hello. Nice to see you. Would you like to come up and chat a bit? I'd love to meet you online here. Come on up if you are so disposed.
So, and if somebody does have a question, if you could drop it, well, I'll try to make sure we address it.
Really. Cassie B made a mouse terrarium today. We were talking to her. Her boys brought some moss in for her for the fish tank, and she had a big glass snifter, I guess, that was full of dirt that she was trying to grow a fern in, and that didn't work. So we recommended she pull some of the dirt out and make a terrarium out of it.
Yeah.
So she has done that. So that'll be great fun.
Yeah, let the boys go out and find some things.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll see that probably tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure she'll want to share that.
You bet.
So that will be good.
Somebody. Oh, guess who's here?
Who? Oh.
Well,
Hey, Jeff.
horses.
Well.
Horses. Or is that cattle? That's cattle. That's not horses.
Yeah.
That's cattle. Right.
Well, I think
Hey, Jesse.
It was like, I think she's trying to come up. I think.
She's bringing her cattle up anyway.
Anyway, yeah.
Right, there she is.
Steven says
there
it's always wonderful seeing the fish fam.
Look at this. Hi, girl.
Oh, hey.
How are you?
I just finished up in the barn, Jess. Finished up working my horses.
Holly just went out to the barn.
Oh, us barn girls.
It's real splotchy, y'all. Sorry.
That's okay.
No, it's clear. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just out here with my cows, and y'all came on, so I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna show y'all something different."
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love it. How many you got?
So my cows.
That's a big piece of property.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Well, you're wearing a hat.
Yeah, I'm wearing ear thing.
Okay, Jess. How cold is it really?
To me, it's only like 43, y'all.
I was gonna say it's like It's not much different here.
But that's cold to me.
Yeah, it's 39 here, but I
Yeah,
still
Cal.
run down in a t-shirt.
Yeah, hell no, no. No, it's cold to me. I don't like coming out of the house if it's below 70.
How many cattle you got? How many head? Can she hear me?
Well, I think there's a lag, maybe.
I don't know.
Jess, how many head of cattle you have there?
I don't think she can hear it.
Yeah, it's just she's splotchy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
What are they? Do you know?
You mean what kind? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just wanted to show y'all something a little different.
That's
I
wonderful,
can't get
Jeff.
my wave right.
Bye,
Ah,
Jess.
I'll
Thank
come up
you.
when I get on the computer later.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
See ya.
See ya.
Isn't that fun? There she is. All right.
Now she's gone. Yeah. Okay. So again, I'm talking. I don't know if there's any questions. It's so easy to get distracted.
Oh, well. I know.
I'm trying to say some hellos. And I'm sorry, I'm probably missing people, but hello, everyone.
What else we got here? Alex is here.
Alex is here.
No, they're not dairy cows, Alex.
No, those are beef cows.
Those are beef cattle, right?
Yeah.
They're for eating, not for drinking.
Well, they just don't produce enough milk, right?
Right,
To bother with, really.
right. Collins Critter Cave.
Yeah.
Stephen, Doveye or wolf cichlid, as some known, are some of my favorite fish. Beef cows are the best cows, says Alex. 604. Going back.
Yeah, you look for questions. I'm still saying hi.
604. I just finished setting up a 300 in my garage for some Doveye. Just tick in and trading. Doveye is a spectacular fish. They have a really brilliant color pattern. They get big like a dinner plate, and they're white with black flecks, kind of the opposite of the bleaker eye, but they're also shaped a little differently. They're more like a sunfish kind of shape, but bigger. Beautiful, beautiful fish.
Okay, I'm looking back because apparently Stephen made a comment. Oh, that was it. Yeah.
For real fish keeper at 604. You see that?
No, because I was looking for Stephen. So
When should I take my baby fry away from parents? They're hovering now, baby parrotfish. You can leave them with them. The parents will take care of the babies. They'll actually move around the tank with them, protecting them. That's the more, excuse me, I'm belching here. That's the more common behavior for cichlids to care for their fry. There are very few that do not. The rams are one that does not, and whether that's genetic or whether it's something that has happened by virtue of breeding, I don't know. I don't know how they are in the wild. I don't know that I've ever had any wild rams. I can't remember. So I don't know whether that's normal behavior or not. Probably what happens in the wild is the babies just kind of take off on their own and begin hiding out. And since there is no parental care beyond that first day or so, but again, I don't know. It may be that the behavior is patterned out of a lot of inbreeding. No idea.
Okay.
Be interesting to find out though. But the bottom line is, for most cichlids, they provide pretty good parental care. The other issue is if they are caring for their young, most of them will not spawn again until those young are pretty well developed and on their own. So you can leave the adults with the babies, and they'll do fine for a month or so, long enough that you'll be ready to remove either the parents or the young.
Okay. Alex has a question, but I just want to say, Jess typed into the chat that she has 28 cows.
28. Oh,
Yeah. So, Alex is asking, Father Fish, do you think an 8 by 10 foot room is big enough to work as a fish room? All racks, question mark. What's your minimum size requirement? I'm house hunting and trying to figure that out myself.
8 by 10. The reality is that any size room will do. It sort of doesn't matter. I mean, an 8 by 10 is not very big, but you could jam 100 tanks in there. Not big ones, but the size tank you're used to working with. 29s, 10s. You wouldn't be able to get many 55s on, but you could do 55s on the floor and then rack 2 or 3 high, and maybe even get a center aisle if you want to really kind of jam yourself in there. You could do the walls to 3 walls. That you have to look at how much you can do. Any size room will do. I had, let's see, that part of the problem is if you've got a big space.
Oh, I think he froze. We lost him. He'll be back. And I was trying to say a few more hellos here. He'll pop back up. I don't know what you guys want to talk about. Here it comes.
I'm back.
You're always doing that to me, leaving me up here
I
alone.
know, it's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, because I don't want to finish answering your question, so I'm just up here going, okay, what do you want to talk about?
We got to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know why it does that. It just drops off and then it comes back on.
Okay, I didn't know if you had to
It's longer. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Makes me crazy.
Well, you're back. And you were in the middle of that question about the fish room. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the size of fish room.
The size of the fish room. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was trying to say was, if you have a big space, it's going to grow like topsy. It'll be one thing after another. The important thing with a fish room, the critically important thing, is to determine what your space is and then design it. So you want to have a floor plan. You want to know going in. You want to be able to max it out. And the only way to do that is to design it. If you don't do that, you're going to wind up with things blocking future growth. If, for example, you get a 200-gallon tank and you set that thing up in a small room, you're going to be really stuck for trying to do anything above it or below it. You've got to be able to plan ahead and decide how you want to put the room together. When I put the Father Fish store together, I spent about a month on a floor plan. And if you go back and look at that floor plan today, it is identical what we've wound up with minor differences. It's identical to what we started with. There's some things that did not work out that we've changed, but by and large, it's exactly what we initially designed it for. And we considered all the options. We wanted wide aisles so people wouldn't be jammed in. Um, we wanted to max out the tank space. We wanted to do staggered tanks rather than stacked tanks. Um, so we were able to do a number of things by designing it that would not have happened had we just started throwing things together.
Right. And that's a nice feature to be able to do that, to design an area, because most of us just sort of, add things as we go along.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
Right.
have a planned fish room,
Yeah, yeah. A planned fish room maxes out what you're going to be able to do. And if you don't do that, you're going to wind up unhappy because you'll wind up with an oddball set of tanks that do not work well together, that preclude you from being able to do as much as you would like to do. You could easily wind up with 10 tanks as opposed to 50 and not be able to do the 50 because those 10 are just they don't fit well. They don't
Right.
play with the other kids.
Well,
They're adult.
And I
So
think, there's other people mentioning that, you max out your electrical outlets, and that's a very easy thing to do.
yeah, that's the other thing. You wanna make sure you get, if you're not handy at all, get an electrician in
Right.
there or a friend who knows how to do that, and set up your outlets and get them high enough that you're going to be able to reach them easily and
Yeah.
comfortably.
No,
And set up a panel, have a sub panel just for the fish room. Doesn't cost anything much to do that, and it makes a world of difference.
well, it does. It's a lot easier than crawling around on your hands and knees trying to plug things in under other tanks or whatever.
Yeah, you bet, you bet.
Much nicer.
So that all makes a world of difference. Plumbing is another thing. Try to work out how you want to get rid of wastewater. That one's kind of critical.
Yep.
If you can set up a drain pipe that you can drain the water into and have it go out in the garden or some such thing, that works real well.
Yeah. And then plumbing in, you can do plumbing for your airlines.
Yeah,
Do some
right.
PVC and run that.
Yeah, and if
That
you're
all
on a
helps.
concrete pad,
Right.
you can cut a groove and put that drain material in that's used on pool pads, swimming pool pads. There are a lot of nice things you can do if you plan ahead.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. When I
And
do
it-
my garage, and someday,
And it makes it more fun.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because I need more fish.
Right. Don't we all? We all need more fish.
Yeah, I need more fish.
Right. Oh, glory.
People are talking about that it's cold, and the usual things. But I think there was.
Oh, that's interesting. For real fish keeper waters his pants with his fish water.
Mhm.
That's curious.
Well, that's a good idea, though.
Well, now I do that.
Yeah.
I do that. As an old man, if I have a accident on the way to the throne, I just splash water on my pants.
Okay, now we're getting into that area.
Well, he said it. Poor real fish keeper started it. Talking about watering his pants. I mean, how else does one to take that?
Well, I was trying to be really good.
Oh,
Uh,
you gotta take the twists when they come.
Well, I usually do, but I was trying to be really well behaved tonight. I thought I'd try something different.
Oh dear, throw me off here.
Oh no.
Well, that's all right. It worked out better that way.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
Polygam's going to be in the 20s for the next week. It's a little too cold for me. My daughter,
Yeah.
my daughter lives right on the Chesapeake Bay. I mean, right on the bay, on the
cold.
bay,
All that
and
wind
the wind comes whipping off the bay. And in the winter, it is dreadful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like blowing solid ice cubes.
Yep. It's pretty in the summer and cold in the winter.
Plants. Oh, we said plants. Plants. I got that.
Right.
Ah, David waters his lawn with fish water.
Yeah, I think there's a variety of uses where everybody's watering their plants or whatever. Yeah, which is good. You're doing something with all that wastewater. That's,
Secret Alex needs to plant with the tanks I have to stay cycled during the move, but also prepare for more space. Oh, you're going to love it, Alex. It's going to be wonderful.
I have to, sorry. Crane Cop's watching.
Ah.
Thank you, Crane Cop. Is very sweet of you to send me this mug.
You betcha. You betcha.
Who's accidentally drinking?
What now?
Well, I was like, all I saw was accidentally drink fresh water. So wait a minute, chat's scrolling up on me. Indoor fishing inside says
accidentally drink fresh water.
wet.
West, for some reason, I have fish water in the water bottle. Oh, and grabbed it.
Oh, I see.
And drank it. Drank fish water accidentally. That's what he did.
Yeah, it won't hurt you.
No, but
I know.
just the thought of it. I know.
Indoor fishing.
Don't want to do it.
Frame cop.
He says once, not west. I know. I was like, this something west. Yeah, that was. Anyway, yeah, accidentally drank fish water. I don't but I don't put it in random bottles because I could see how that could happen.
Right, don't want to do that.
No.
It's easy to do that. Right. Holly says, best coffee ever, huh? Right.
You seem to like it.
I do.
I mean,
oh, come on.
Once,
Here,
right?
Fishy. Here, Fishy. Honest to God. Well, that'll work. The only problem is you got to have a really heavy nitrifying bacteria going in there. You're introducing all that ammonia.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm still back on the coffee. How often, or how many times have you actually made coffee out of fish water?
Probably once.
Okay.
I didn't like it.
I think if you do it on a regular basis.
No.
Okay.
Water is earthy today. Indoor fishing said the water is really earthy today. Well, yeah, there's that.
I bet, yeah.
Stevens rite of passage, siphoning a mouthful of water.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, who was it? Somebody was just talking, simple fish keeping is trying to get to 250.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Simple fish keeping is trying to get to 250.
Okay, trying to get 250 subs. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to go.
I'm sure Lori's dropped the link. She's doing a great job as usual.
Yeah, I'm going to go over there.
Yeah.
And find it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's kind of commenting about the fish water.
you know, that it ends up in places it shouldn't.
All right. So what is it? It's not KFS. Simple Fish Keeping.
Lori, did you drop
Yes,
the
I
link?
got it. Oh, she's at 250. She hit 250.
Okay.
251.
Okay.
So
So
right.
somebody's South Pacific is asking, can you talk about cherry shrimp care and signs of sickness?
Oh God, here we go again.
Well, it's not worms.
Alex, why don't you come talk about shrimp?
There you go.
I just am not good with shrimp.
I don't keep shrimp, so I got nothing to help you. Oh, Alex is saying he has a ton of videos on cherry shrimp, calling
There
them
we
pretty
go.
and everything
Why
else.
don't you post a few links, Alex?
Yeah.
We got you.
Somebody said they got gastritis from tank water.
What?
Had to go on antibiotics. Not Nola Jane said that.
Oh dear. Really?
Yeah.
Who's this? Not Nola Jane
Not
Fishery.
Nola Jane. Yeah.
Wow. Gastritis. Nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Yeah. Don't drink the fish water.
Yeah.
It's not on purpose.
South Pacific. Alex says, my channel has a ton of video. You did that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, you know, Alex is just being funny. He says fish water is like sand at the beach. It goes places you didn't know existed.
Or wish it wouldn't.
Oh, Alex says drop the link and he'll come out.
All right. Let me get it somewhere.
And even I was guilty of, I hadn't hit the like button yet. I just did that.
Oh, I haven't either, actually.
Yeah, we were talking before and I just wasn't paying attention. Will's Tanks. My sparkling gourami is still eating the eggs. Hold on, my chat's scrolling. After a few tries, is there any chance that he just isn't a good breeder? He has also been getting really aggressive.
Yeah, probably not a good breeder.
Yeah.
This is, well, there's Jess.
Oh, hey, Jess.
Hear y'all way better now.
Yeah. Without all the wind and.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I had a bad
What's going
connection. And out there, I don't know if y'all could see behind me, like way behind me, there's this big tower thing. It looks like a cone almost, but it's like really high and it's white. We live right beside like Barstow Air Force Base, and
Huh.
that is a some kind of radar for system for the planes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Connects the Barstow Air Force Base to, I think, West Monroe. Anyway, sometimes when I'm there and I forget about that, it will actually interrupt my cell service.
Yeah, say it's interfering.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been on the phone and riding my horse around it, and it completely shut it off.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm like,
I can believe that though. Yeah.
How much property do you have there?
That's a lease that I have. I used
Okay.
to have the whole 200. It's 270 acres, and the man that I worked for several years, or worked with, and then we went partners, and then this year he sold out. And then I went to leasing the front, pretty much 100 acres, and then somebody else leased the 150 in the back, and then
That's
they
pretty good
live.
size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is, and it's good ground. It's good ground. So
Yeah, looks good.
my cows have plenty to eat. I had just I've got some video. We took some cubes out there, and I don't have to round up my cattle. All I got to do is go out there, holler for them, and shake the bag, and they come running.
Yeah.
So, that's what we were doing, checking on everybody, seeing if we had new calves, and because it's cold, and when a cold front come through, you're usually gonna have new calves. So Alex,
Hi, Alex.
Hey guys.
so I was just
How you
out
doing?
checking on everybody, giving them a treat, and I opened up a new little 5-acre pasture. They had some hay in that they could come in and eat. So
Nice.
Good.
anyway, I couldn't say all that while I was trying to say that I was on the phone
No, that was
earlier.
great
It wouldn't
fun.
go through.
Yeah, that was great fun. I
When
appreciate
do
you.
you
How are you,
when do
Al?
you get to eat those cows?
We actually put 4 in the freezer this year.
Did you really?
Yeah.
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 Nice.
Usually we don't do that. I ended up bottle raising too, many years ago, or well, not many years ago, about 2 years ago, and they need to go, and we're actually selling those. So we've already butchered them, but we're selling the meat, and
Yeah.
then we have 2 in the freezer for ourselves. So usually we only butcher 1 a year, but this year was extra, a lot
Well,
extra.
they're big. That's a lot of meat.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a
Need
lot
a
of
lot of
meat.
freezer space.
Yeah, and
Right.
the
Yeah.
one we did, we had to go buy another freezer, and the weird part about that was there were no deep freezers to buy. Everybody had bought them out. They're gone because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
There
Oh,
were
yeah.
none.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ended up buying a floor model that actually had a big indention in it. So we'd take what we could get.
Wow.
That's
But
funny.
Well, it'll last
Yeah.
a long time though. You know.
yes,
keep
oh
it
yeah,
frozen for a while.
for sure.
Well,
But
that's
those are
cool.
So
cattle, beef cattle, not dairy.
Right.
yeah.
Right. Right.
I used to have a dairy cow that I would put calzone that either lost their mom or for whatever reason, and well, I think I've told that story before. She ended up dying of milk poisoning, milk fever.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah.
That's too bad.
So yeah,
That's crazy.
a milk cow died of milk fever.
Yeah.
What
I've
do you
heard of
think?
it, but I've never
Yeah,
seen
I
it.
hadn't. I had never heard of it when it happened.
I think
And
they
I
Yeah.
had a $700
They're really-
vet bill after the case because I tried everything to.
Is it because they get really low in calcium? Is that
Yes, kind of.
Yeah.
She what happened was she had 2 calves on her already. One that was hers, and then another one that that I had put on her. Well, she had raised 2 prior to that, and they got in the fence, and so within over a 24-hour period, she went from having 2 calves on her to 4 calves on her, and so they
Oh,
pretty
wow.
much
Holy cow.
depleted her. They drained her down from
Yeah.
everything, and I
Yeah.
didn't know it, and so that's what happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
So from having
No
2 to
reserve
4.
left. Yeah.
Wow.
And she couldn't
Wow.
replenish enough to keep her body going, So
That's really shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the bad thing about that is I had already saved that cow one time. She had got down in a culvert and
Oh,
stuck
God.
up to her
Oh,
belly,
that's awful.
all 4 legs. And I tell you what, you try to get a cow out of mud that's stuck up to her belly. Yeah,
I
that
had-
ain't fun.
Yeah, I had one fall in a ditch. Yeah, that's dreadful.
We had to dig the mud out from underneath her belly, put ratchet straps, and lift her out, hoping
Right.
we
I was
didn't
just
kill
gonna
her
say,
in the
use it, come
process.
along.
Yeah.
With a tractor. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't kill her in the process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
So,
at my high school, we had a senior prank that we did every year, like a senior class would do.
Yeah.
yeah.
And somebody's uncle owned a bunch of cattle outside of town where we live, and in Seattle, in the heart of the city, they brought 6 cattle and they took them up 3 flights of stairs, human stairs,
Oh, my God.
and put them up onto the top floor of a classroom area. But cows won't go down human stairs because they're
Yeah.
too top heavy and they'll collapse. So they refuse to go down. So they had to build like plywood ramps to get the cows back out of there.
Y'all didn't have an
That's
elevator?
funny. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
They did that
They
they
here.
didn't think it was too funny. They didn't think it was
They
too
had-
funny, the administrators, but
Right.
You get them
They
up,
had
but
a
you can't get
bull.
them down.
For like homecoming one year, there was a school that their mascot was a bull, and somebody took the mascot and put it in, the inside the school up several flights of stairs, and they had to end up putting it in the elevator and hoping that it wasn't overweight to get it back down, and it did actually break it. They ended up having to call the elevator people. Oh, it was a nightmare.
Oh my God.
Maxed out
Yeah.
the capacity, huh? Wow.
Cows don't belong
Wow.
inside schools, especially up flights of stairs.
so I was gonna answer the yeah.
The
So I was gonna answer the shrimp question real quick.
Question.
Yeah.
Please.
Which is I posted a link to the playlist that has like 100 videos literally of shrimp related things. If somebody's interested, I'm all about shrimp, so I posted a lot of videos. So I would recommend going there first. I saw Lori or Monster Fish Tanks, is it?
Yeah.
She posted another link too.
Okay.
But I mean, for the most part, just to give it a brief overview, it's if you have a good source, you shouldn't have to be worrying about diseases and things from your shrimp too much. The main thing that you want to worry about is if you have either too much calcium and your shrimp gets stuck in their exoskeletons, and you'll find that out because they'll get a split on their back, and it's called the white line of death in the hobby. And if they have too little calcium, they can't form their shell. So, I mean, it's kind of a sweet spot in the hobby of where you want to keep Neocaridina. But for the most part, they are the easiest to keep shrimp out of a lot of the options.
Does that person have hard water or soft water? Do we know?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, we don't know a whole lot. But I mean,
that once I added crushed coral because I have really hard water, and
yes.
high pH. That once I add crushed coral, man, mine took off. That last night, I went to my tank and I found a bunch of blues, and I had been waiting, trying so hard to raise the blues. I'm talking like 7 months, and I tried everything, and finally last night I had babies. I was running around. I got blue babies. I got blue.
Yeah, well, and
That's
it's near the full moon too, and shrimp actually really do respond to that.
Do they?
Shrimp
Well,
can tell. They can tell that it pulls on them, and so they have a natural cycle. Just like the tides. I mean, I don't know, how do salmon know when it's time to go back to
Crabs do that.
Yeah, so shrimp.
Yeah.
So shrimp will in the wild, Neocaridina and Caridina shrimp will get together on the full moon, and they'll just go crazy. They'll swim all over the place, and it's probably one for lighting, but also it's when the high tides come for the species that need their larvae to go out. And so what happens is it's almost exactly the same length as the moon cycle is when shrimp give birth. So basically one moon cycle before the strongest tides is frequently when shrimp will get pregnant. So it's kind of like every other moon cycle you can expect a given Neocaridina, Caridina, Babalti, Taiwan bee. That's kind of their max fertility as long as nutrition and everything is right. They do it all year long. They're not just annual.
Yeah. Pygmy seahorses do the same thing.
I've heard they're hard to raise.
And I'll actually...
No, they're easy. They're really easy.
Really?
They really are.
Huh.
They're the easiest. The only thing it's
I don't know anything about saltwater.
The only thing that's easier is the pipefish.
Huh.
Really?
And pipefish you can't kill. Now, there are shrimp. There are saltwater and brackish water shrimp that I've never been able to keep alive.
That guy said that he had hard water. So
hard water.
Okay, so if you have if you have hard water, then you shouldn't probably need to add anything. If anything, you probably want to be more concerned about like adding a catappa leaf, and that will bring your acidity. It'll increase the acidity, bring your pH down, but that will also help the acidity in the water slowly dissolves calcium out of the substrate and water that may be kind of stored in the substrate. And so you'll actually have more available calcium if you're adding things that bring up the acidity in hard water than if it were just hard water alone. So it's kind of one of those things where you're doing one thing that brings one down, and then it releases calcium, which brings the pH back up. So it's kind of a seesaw thing that you have to figure out where the sweet spot is. But for me, I've found, and I'll say this and then I'll hop off, but I've found that 1 pound of crushed coral to completely neutral water with like a TDS of say 50 to 100, lower end TDS, if you add 1 pound of coral per 10 gallons, it's pretty much perfect for both guppies and Neocaridina shrimp in my experience.
Alex,
That's about
So-
what I did.
before you drop off, Tony
Yeah.
Hine says, my shrimp have the white line of death. I have water that's really hard. Is there anything they can do at that point to help their shrimp?
Add the crushed coral.
He's saying that they have the white line of death.
No, it's in nature's hands pretty much.
Okay.
It's determined.
Basically, yeah. I mean, maybe a 1 in 5 or less, 1 in 10 chance that they'll live. But sometimes they will have that line for a day or two. It's if they have it for like a week or more that they're in trouble, because they always shed the same way. They always slip out. They crack right where their shoulder and head meet, and then they slip out by folding in half and flicking out all of a sudden, kind of like a little suit that they're wearing. And they do that every time. But when the suit breaks in a weird spot, they can't get that off in one piece. So it's it's just, I mean, all you can do then is you can get the white line of death also from when when your water's too hard. I would buy a $20 TDS meter. You know, they're like $15 to $20 on Amazon, and just keep your TDS under 400 and above 100. You know, that's a pretty wide range, but that should keep your shrimp out of that danger zone usually. So,
Okay. Well, thank you
yeah.
for addressing that question.
Thanks, guys.
Hey,
Good to see
yeah.
everybody, and I'll hop back into chat.
Wait. Hey,
Thank-
wait,
take care.
Okay. I was gonna say, you know how with horses, how when we want them not to grow the fuzzy coat in the wintertime, that we can control that with lighting.
With light.
I wonder if that's the same thing with shrimp and whatever that has to go with lighting or the pool of stuff and all that kind of stuff. If it can be controlled by the lighting that we do in our tanks.
You know, that's a good point and a good question, because you're right. We can control the coat of our horses by the length of the day.
And the heat in the barn too.
And the
But
heat. Yeah.
yeah.
But it's the light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big
Mainly it's the light.
factor in that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean with shrimp too, I give them a total blackout most nights. I don't leave any blue lights on in the room or anything. I give them a hardcore blackout because they have sensory organs. They've evolved to feel around in pitch black just as easily as in light. And so I black them out. It reduces stress too, and they use less calories, so they can put more calories towards babies. So I'll usually leave the light on in the room. There's some light on for at least 12 to 16 hours, but there's 8 hours of blackness, except on the full moon. And then I open up my blinds. I have blackout blinds in the room with all the shrimp, and then they get kind of the street light and the full moon glow they usually get, depending on where the moon is. But for me, it's worked. I've got videos online showing where I've got 12 or 15 shrimp starting in a new colony, and 4 or 5 females all bury the same night on a full moon. So
Nice.
I've seen it happen a lot, and you'll see them swimming around a whole lot before they do it too.
I just
Huh.
checked my TDS and my test with my blue babies, and it was 543.
It's pretty
Wow.
high, but
Yeah.
sometimes
That's most
Neos are okay with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
High
And I
equipment.
mean,
Runs like that.
yeah, the last thing to say too is like if you're getting your shrimp from somebody where they were born in water that hard, then they're going to be a lot more used to it. But if you buy them from, a shrimp farm in Malaysia or something that in RO water in the pond or something, then you're gonna shock them. So if you can buy locally from someone with your same water system, then you don't even need to worry about the TDS as much. Just put enough calcium that they can that they can access it. Like half a pound per 10 gallons even is enough if you have hard water.
And
I
that
So-
makes
got this
sense,
off
like you
of
said.
Amazon.
But thanks guys, good to see everybody.
You too, Alex. Take care.
Thank
Yeah.
We had Aquarium Cup up here and he went
I know.
away.
Just
Come
as
on
I
back
said
up,
goodbye.
Aquarium Cup.
Too big.
He dropped
Yeah.
out just as I
There we
said hi
go.
to him. There's I gotta scroll back up. There's a snail question.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, quick question. It's for Real Fish Keeper. Quick question about snails again. What calcium do they need, and will the fish get hurt if they eat it? Because the snails are with the snails, and maybe in the morning, something like maybe in the morning I can show you all. So maybe she's gonna come up in the morning and share the snails. But I think she's
Who
worried
is-
about if the fish eat the calcium supplement. I think.
Who are we talking about?
We're talking about snails, and For Real Fish Keeper is asking what calcium do they need, and will my fish get hurt if they eat it? And then
No.
she's saying that maybe she can come up in the morning and show.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll be happy to come on up in the morning. That'll be fine.
But the calcium.
No, it's not going to hurt them if they eat it. No.
All right, guys,
So
I'm gonna go.
Thank you, Jess.
Okay,
Good
Jess,
to see you.
bye. Good to see you.
It's always fun.
Thanks for coming in.
You too.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. See y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I think she's just worried that it might injure the fish, but that shouldn't be a problem.
Nope. Catalba.
And then somebody else had made a comment about snails. I'm trying to find it.
South Pacific.
Yeah,
Don't
that
take
was
out your dead snail if you keep shrimp.
yeah.
I was talking about the empty shell. Yeah, the shell will dissolve in time. Somebody just left a $5
Yeah, as I say, I can't see
super
who it
chat.
is.
There it is, David.
Okay.
Thank you, David
Thank you,
Sanford,
David.
very much. Alex saying if your snails are opaque, then they have enough calcium. Only plecos get hurt eating snails, and that's from the parasites.
Okay.
There are snail parasites, a lot of different kinds actually. They're nematodes, but the most dangerous ones are a parasite that eats into the shell, and they start at the operculum. They start right at the edge of the shell, the growing part of the shell, and they eat up. They chew it up until they get to the line where the operculum is, and then they enter the body and kill the snail. It's a nasty bugger, and is very tiny, hard to detect. But when you start seeing snails that have a kind of a groove in the shell right at the opening that heads up to the higher part of the shell, then you know you've got a parasite problem. It's
And how do they treat it?
you get rid of the snails that have it.
Okay, so you don't treat it. You just
Yeah, there's no way to treat it. You just have to weed. You have to try to weed it out. And the best way is to pull healthy ones out, and set them up separately, and hope that you've got it. It's a bugger. It ruins a lot of snail farmers. And that's where it really hurts. When the farmers raise snails in large vats, and they'll have a string of 10 different vats with all the different colors of snails, all the different morphs and species, and they'll raise them in each one of these. Um, for the mystery snails, they'll have a piece of screen sitting on top of the vat, and as they see an egg case, they peel it off and toss it on the screen, so that when the babies hatch, they fall down in the water. But they have to examine their snails, and they may have 1,000 snails in a vat, and they keep an eye open for that problem, because once it happens, it just runs rampant. What they usually do when they find it is kill everything and disinfect the vat.
okay. She decided she needed to come say hi.
Yes, she did, didn't she?
Yep. Oh, baby. They want to see your face. Whoop.
There she is.
Oh boy. All right.
Oh, Stephen is calling it schistosomiasis, the most common condition from parasites transferred to humans from freshwater snails.
Well, that's interesting.
Now, there is a nematode that goes from a snail to a fish to a bird and back to the snail. It goes through all three animals in its life cycle.
Wow.
But seaweed was just given 5 black mystery snails to breed. Do I need to keep together? I would.
Yeah.
I absolutely would.
Alex says there's huge problems from snails in Africa.
Oh,
I didn't realize that you could catch a parasite from a snail or get a parasite from a snail. I did not know that. You are not coming through, or at least on my end.
I'm not saying anything.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, that's why I can't hear you.
right.
You're like, wow, I can't hear him.
Imagine that.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
Oh,
Roman wants to know how Mary's doing. I don't know
we have
100%
not heard.
how she's doing. We haven't heard from her.
Her daughter called earlier.
Yeah.
I thought she was up here.
I haven't seen Morgan in here. I
She
mean,
was
I know.
at the beginning. I think she was here at the beginning.
Was she? I didn't.
I
I
think.
don't remember seeing her. But she wasn't.
We did
feeling
hear
well.
from Morgan. Yeah, we heard from Morgan earlier. Said her mother was just not doing well at all. She had a sore throat and a headache and just generally miserable.
Yeah.
In addition, with somebody broke her computer So she's probably in a tailspin about now.
That, yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully she's getting some rest today. I hope she's able to do that.
Oh,
And I
right.
think Alex is still on the snail.
The snail. The snail kick.
The nail.
Yeah, as is Stephen. Yeah, they're both talking about snail.
Morgan just chimed in. She is still feeling awful.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, Mary. Hope you feel better soon.
Marco is saying some snails host parasites. When I was in Malawi for research, the greatest dangers were the invisible ones, malaria and bilharzia. Can the human body fight off parasites from accidentally drinking fish water? Depends on the parasite, I would guess. Usually parasites are not fought off very well. They have to be treated.
But that would be true. I mean, it's not just fish water. There's many ways you can pick up parasites.
Like you're going swimming in a pond or a lake.
Yeah. Well, I feel like your animals too. I mean,
Giardia.
You can be exposed to parasites.
Drinking wild water.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that leads to another subject, but I've always wondered why, we worm our animals, we have regimens, and I'm like, why do we think we don't have parasites?
Well, there's an interesting story goes with that. When I was in Kentucky, back in the 60s, the early 60s, I was in Appalachia, and there was a song that was very popular in the hills, and the song went something like, the lyrics were, "Ain't no flies on Jesus, 'cause he sprayed with DDT." Now, mothers used to give a dose of DDT to their children to get rid of worms and other internal parasites.
Alex is chiming in. He's got an answer.
Those happy kids were tough, I'm telling you.
But, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I personally, I was raised around animals, running through the new house barefoot, doing all things that, we weren't supposed to do. And I feel like I gotta have parasites, I must.
Yeah, I know. Stephen's saying most parasites the human immune system can attack with white blood cells. However, the problem occurs when the body has too high of a white blood count. You just lost them. And you have secondary conditions.
So like anything, it's like they get you when you're down.
There you go.
Layman's terms.
Jose says, don't read Life on Man. That sounds interesting.
So Stephen says when that happens is when we need anti-parasitics. So yeah, so we would take a wormer,
Right.
I just don't see why we don't take them regularly. I mean, I give them to my dogs, I give them to my horses. I feel like it should be a regimen, but maybe I'm
well, they're a lot of the holistic people claim that the human body is full of parasites.
I mean, you pick up an apple off the ground, you eat it. You grab a carrot out of the garden, you eat it. You know, it's like we have to be exposed to them.
Right. Well, we probably
Anyway.
know most of them. You know, most of them we're probably have developed some effective means of
Yeah.
defeating them.
I'm sure to a point. But anyway, okay, so we can get off the parasites if you want to.
Yeah, that particular one gets it gets a little gross the more you get into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of a couple of stories I really don't want to tell.
Okay, so well, I guess we're at 7 o'clock. So
Are we? Yeah, we are, aren't we? Look at that. 7:50, 7:01 it
yeah,
is.
so
Let's
we can play a song or two or whatever you want to do.
let's find a tune
Okay.
on my channel on the music of Father Fish. What do you want to hear?
I don't know. I'm reading For Real Fish Keepers.
What do we do?
What do we want to hear? I don't know. Have we played them all in the past couple days so that there's no?
Yeah, most everything. I'm just looking at the list here. The part of the problem here is we can't hear it very well. I'd like to play Hear Fishies, but we're not going to be able to hear it.
Yeah. I'm
Right.
Jay Palmer. It's like we always rub tomatoes and veggies on our pants legs before we ate them as kids. Right. Like that solved everything. We just took them out, rubbed them, and ate them.
Right.
But, you know, whatever. That's how we've all lived our lives, you know. So.
What is going on here? Come on, machine. Quit screwing around.
What did you decide to play?
I don't know. Well, apparently nothing because I can't get the volume thing to. I don't know what's going on.
Well, if you can't get that, you're going to have to sing or something.
You're right. Well, that'll be deadly. Now, let's try it again here. Glory Oski, music of Father Fish.
Well, and at least we didn't end up, my dad always said every time we were together as a group and us girls would get talking, he said, why does it always come around to rats? We would end up talking about rats.
Oh, that's funny.
So it's kind of like, you know, the snails and the worms and, you know, we would always end up at rats.
There we go.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Is that the Halloween one?
Yeah. I can't get this stupid. I don't know what's going on here. I'm licked into the wrong thing. Is that it? There it is. No. Madness, madness.
The stairs can be treacherous.
Oh. Goodbye, everybody. See you in the morning.
Good night. Bye, everyone.
Good night, all.
Bye, Father Fish.
Oh, good night, all.
Good night.
Nice to be with you. Bye bye.